And we are back here with another video today. Today we are doing Michigan State's football prediction. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that subscribe button. Help me reach my goal of 6,350 subscribers. I'm sorry, 6,500 subscribers by the end of June. We're working our way there, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out the rest of my college football predictions as well. I have college football predictions coming out all summer long. So make sure you just hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and like the video if you enjoy it. Michigan State in a big transition year, in an important year, I should say. Michigan State has a lot to prove under new head coach Pat Fitzgerald, the former long-term Northwestern head coach before coming over now to Michigan State. With a new president coming over to Michigan State, I mostly just know that because Clemson recently just hired him. So a lot of things moving around, a couple more coaches on the way out. And honestly, you never know how long you're going to see Tom Izzo there at basketball. So a very big change here for Michigan State as a whole athletic department. So I'd like to see where the direction leads. Pat Fitzgerald, very interesting hire. I think a very interesting it's just a very interesting hire after everything that went down at Northwestern. I like the hire because he was a successful coach at a small, lower level Big Ten school. Michigan State has way more resources than Northwestern does, way more backing than Northwestern does. But at the same time, Michigan State's not going to like it, but they're still smaller and less substantial than the Oregons, USC's, Michigan, Ohio States, and Penn States of the world. They're still in the second tier of teams in the Big Ten today. Either way, let's get into today's video as we look at Michigan State's football schedule. So getting into it today, we have the first game, home game against Toledo. I think that this is a win here. I don't think that they should have any issues in this game. I think that they should be able to get the win. I will say Toledo did not have a bad season last year. They obviously went 8-5, 6-2 in conference overall. I don't remember the last time that these two teams played, but I think that Toledo is a solid MAC team, but also they're a MAC team. But they did play Kentucky to 8 points last year. I do think that that should be noted. 21-point loss to Washington State. I think that this Midwestern team, this Michigan State team, this Midwestern team battle here is going to be an important one for Milivojevic. I believe that's how you say his name. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I'm just learning his name. Obviously, last year, Milivojevic was there near the end of the season. Was a pretty good quarterback, 1,300 yards, 64.2% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 142 QB rating. Not much rushing ability, did get sacked a good bit for negative 57 rushing yards overall, but not a bad first year for Milivojevic. And I know I'm saying that wrong. I have a tough time with Balkan names. But either way, a win against Toledo, and I think the offense will play a factor there. Then there's an Eastern Michigan, a local Michigan school coming in to play that game. And I think that that is going to be, once again, another win. Eastern Michigan and Lipsitani is a solid team. They definitely have some good pieces, some good contributing pieces there at Eastern Michigan, and a team that I think could play very well in the SAC. But once again, I think Michigan State will get the win here, and I don't think they'll have any particular problems there. Then you have a road game against Notre Dame. Honestly, I am psyched as a Notre Dame fan. Most of you guys know that watch the channel. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. I'm really happy to see Notre Dame have Michigan State back on the schedule. In all honesty, to share a little bit that you probably don't want to know if you're a Michigan State fan, but this is the game that I became a Notre Dame fan, was a Michigan State Notre Dame game back in, I don't know, maybe 2011 or 2010. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. They were playing each other. My favorite color was yellow, so I started cheering for Notre Dame. But Michigan State was that other team on the other side. I have a tremendous amount of respect for this game, and I'm glad to see it because you have a guy like KK Smith, the former Notre Dame wide receiver, had 123 yards last year at Notre Dame. I think is going to be a good wide receiver for Michigan State, but just wasn't good enough to make it at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame gets an easy win here. If this team was in year 3 of Pat Fitzgerald, I'd be a little more interested, maybe even year 2. But right now, I think at Notre Dame, I will give Notre Dame an easy win there. Then you have a home game against Nebraska. I think that this is also a win. I think Matt Rule being at Nebraska a little bit longer. You did lose Dylan Raiola to be a backup at Oregon, which kind of looks bad looking back on it, move by him. I don't think he would have came back to Nebraska, but I do think he would have gone somewhere else if he knew Dante Moore was coming back. Then going in to that game, I think will also be some issues of can they keep up offensively with Nebraska, and what does Nebraska's team look like at that point? And Matt Rule really should be winning a game like that in year 4 of his tenure. If you're Matt Rule and you're not winning a game like that, that's a big issue. So either way, I have that as a loss for the Spartans. Getting back in the win column, I have them playing a game at Wisconsin and winning that game. And this is exactly what I meant. Luke Fickell, I believe, is in year 4. He could be in year 3. I could be misremembering. But year 3 or 4. And Luke Fickell isn't really, I think, a coach that's going to win a game like this. I think that they could very well lose a game to Wisconsin. But honestly, when I'm looking at Wisconsin, when I'm looking at Pat Fitzgerald on the Michigan State side, I just lean trusting more towards Pat Fitzgerald in year 1 than I do Luke Fickell later on in his tenure. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Michigan State will lose that game. It's very possible. But I'm going to trust Fitzgerald here in that game to get his first Big Ten win at Michigan State. Then a home game against Illinois. I think Illinois is just the far superior team in this matchup. Brett Bielema is going to be better at what Pat Fitzgerald is doing at Michigan State. Right now, Brett Bielema has Illinois going strong, honestly. Illinois could very well make a playoff run. I would not be surprised if they had gotten one more win last year and had gotten to that 10-2 record. I believe they were 9-3 at the end of the season. But if Illinois can get to that 10-2 spot, I think they have a playoff berth, and that would be so much fun to see Illinois. But for all those reasons that I just said, I also think Illinois is in a better spot right now. Even though I do think Michigan State, look at the running back position, Cam Williams, the transfer from UConn, 1,200 yards last year, 6 yards a carry, 15 touchdowns, is also incredibly important. I think that the run game will be good at Midwestern. I keep screwing it up with Michigan State and Northwestern. Sorry, guys. I think Fitzgerald at Michigan State will be able to get the ground game going early, but I don't think he'll be able to help them against Illinois. I think Illinois' defensive line is good enough to get a win there. Then there is a home game against Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald's old team coming to town, and I do think he gets the revenge win against the Northwestern Wildcats. I think that this is a 50-50 game. Honestly, in my opinion, I like the talent a little bit more of Michigan State, but I like the place that Northwestern's at a little bit better right now. So with it being a home game, I'm going to give the advantage to the home team in Michigan State and give them the win there. Then there is a road game, but after that is going to be a bye week. So can't look ahead, though, to Michigan. You still have UCLA road game almost halfway across the country. And I was tempted to put this as a win. I kind of split this one with another game that I kind of been spoiling it, but Rutgers. I think that they will win one of the two games between the two, UCLA and Rutgers. I just don't think that they win this game against UCLA because I think UCLA is a little better than Rutgers, but we'll see. Then a bye week and then a game at Michigan. I think that this is a loss. I just don't see much benefit here to picking Michigan State. I know it's a rivalry game, so anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything's on the table. Rivalry games, I think people underrate them in college, especially a lot of people that watch professional sports a lot more than they watch college. They're like, oh, well, the Chicago Bears have performed a lot worse than the Green Bay Packers. Therefore, the Packers are just going to beat them twice this season. That's not how college football works. Upsets happen, especially in rivalry games. Look at the kick six year. Look at this game. Look at the blocked punt. I remember watching that. That was, first of all, an insanely dumb move by Jim Harbaugh, and congrats to you guys at Michigan State. Just a dumb play there. Either way. Then there is a home game against Washington. Then I think that this is going to be a win for Washington. And then it's a home game against Oregon. And I just think that both of these teams fall in the category of just Washington and Oregon are just superior teams with better head coaches in Lanning and Jed Fisher, with better quarterbacks in Bain and Moore, and just better rosters overall. I just don't see Michigan State being able to compete in the same way that I think that they do have some advantages with Michigan, of Michigan still having some issues of what does Dylan Underwood look like this year? What does the offense look like? Is the defense in a better spot? How messed up is this team? It's a rivalry game. But with these games, I just don't see some of those advantages or question marks. Then, like I said, a road game against Rutgers, I have a win here because I could see you flip UCLA and Rutgers. So at the end of the day, I have Michigan State going 5-7 on the season. I think that this is a good year for Pat Fitzgerald to go 5-7 and get this program heading in the right direction and then make a bowl game next year. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if he is able to turn around the squad a little bit faster, get a win against UCLA, make a bowl game. But we'll see what happens. As always, hit one of the two videos down below, the playlist of all my college football predictions, and the subscribe button up here. As always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.